as well. So my question is, if you look at a person, because like I've seen you work, right? You don't do your 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You do your work sometimes within 5 minutes. It's not 1, 2, 3. I mean, like not in particular 1, 2, 3. You just go one point. I remember there was this guy, Eddie's friend, best friend.
Yeah.
That he's asked, like it's just one point, right? It's just one point. And then I remember he was asking you, like, that's it, like, yeah, but that's it, right? No, so that's my question. What would you look like? I know you see the whole person, and I'm a movement person as well, right? I teach movement, but I know where to look because I know the movement. With Pilates, I know the movement, so I know where the initiation is, where should they put the base of support, all the dots. So if you look at the person, I remember we were having drinks at one of the skyscraper, and then you were telling asking the waiter that he was serving drinks. He was not walking. Serving drinks.
The guy with the shoes.
Yeah. But he was serving drink. He was not walking. That's my point. If he's walking and then you look at, okay, so he was standing, but he was serving us drink. So what would be your first area that you would look? There was something like everyone has their own, or their own favorite, not favorite, but I don't know what the word is. But the first thing that they will see, right?
Yeah.
So what would be the first thing that you would look? I think everyone will benefit from this question.
Well, Lily, it's a very interesting thing because the answer will kind of seem strange because I don't look. And when I look, then I'm looking for something. And if I'm looking for something, I tend not to find anything. And that's when I have to go into, now let me use the framework to help me find the answer. When I just see, the answer is always there. And so the only way I can kind of explain this further is when I take a group of professionally trained movement specialists, physios, Pilates, it doesn't matter what, and I ask them to analyze somebody moving. They're analyzing through a whole series of steps that they've been taught.
Wait, you're cracking. Wait, I don't want to miss anything. Wait, I don't want to miss anything. You're cracking.
Cracking. Okay, am I back?
Okay.
So you got that. But now, if I take a group of kids, let's say they're 8 years old, and they're 10 kids, and I get that same person to walk, and I ask the kids, what do you see? Do you know what? They're more likely to see what I see. And I can't tell you why, other than like in Taoism, they talk about like Winnie the Pooh, the uncarved block, the simplicity. You're looking for the simplest thing that pops into your head, not the most complex. And we're trained into complexity. And so I find that when I'm able to see, and the seeing comes with a sense of knowing. It's like somebody just says, this is the answer. And you go, like a surgeon who goes scalpel, and they don't look to see it's the right scalpel. They trust that what is given to you, and that trust is based in years of learning. So first the surgeon has to trust themselves, then they have to trust the team around them. Now imagine the team is all the learning and experience we've had. So each the anesthetist, the nurse, the co-pilot surgeon, whatever we'd call them, each is a component of your learning. Eventually you have to let go of checking up on them, and you have to become unconscious. And when you become unconscious, then answers just come. And I find, so whenever I'm looking for the answer, geez, I'm useless. I irritate the hell out of myself because I come up with the stupidest things because I'm trying to be clever. I'm trying to impress. I'm trying to, when I'm not trying to do that, when it really doesn't matter what the answer is, I have the sense it's just handed to me. And so, because just like you've seen the 5 minutes, you've also seen the sessions where we go really long, because that's also what's required. So sometimes the answer is just almost revealed, but it's not like anyone walking out in the world, oh wow, the answer just fell and hit me on the head. You know, you still have to have the background, the understanding, the framework. So you know, like if your foundation is so good that you don't have to check that your foundation is good, you trust it. And again, it's so there's an element of faith here, that and there's another element as well, which is really important. You also have to have the willingness to be wrong. Because imagine I go, boom. If I go, because anytime you've seen me do that, I haven't gone, let me show you the one point that's going to change your life. I'll never do that. I will go, do you mind if I just do this? Let's see what happens. Because I don't know if it's going to work. I just know that my intuition, my instinct, my guidance, my whatever we want to call it, tells me to go there. And I have no other knowledge or reason than that. If you ask me afterwards, why that point, I will then track back into my foundational learning, and I will be able to give you an answer in any which way you like. We can break it down into here's the physical, here's the this. But when you trust your learning enough, when you trust your knowledge enough, and so therefore it's about, can you trust you enough that what comes up? And with the willingness to be wrong, because that's really important. Because if you're doing this needing to be right, well, that sounds like your ego. And if it's your ego, it's a very narrow thing, because the ego requires an outcome. And the goal of the game is not to require an outcome. And it's the hardest thing in the world. You know, it's like, I go into corporate stuff, I go into teams. What are the outcomes that you're going to bring to us? If I go, I can make you 30% faster, 30% stronger, more efficient, all of that's possible. But somehow you still have to allow that freedom of the expression of, somehow you know the answers when you get out of your head enough. And just that's also why, and in fact, this is really important. And it's probably also why the hack kit is such a big thing, because the whole thing is about getting you into your glutes. But think how many times on workshops I've come over to people, and when you've walked around with me, you've done it too. Someone's going, oh, I can't really feel. Okay, hang on. Just stop, rest, relax your hands, keep them in the same position. Now just squeeze your butt a little bit, and now go back in. They go, whoa. Oh, I can feel that. And the person they're doing stuff to goes, oh, that feels totally different. Oh, that feels much better. Well, what that is they are getting connected back into themselves. When you are connected into yourself, all the answers are always there. When you're not, then all the answers are out there. And out there is where the fear and the doubts and the is it right, is it wrong? What will they think? What will they do? What if I'm wrong and they judge me? And then we have all that stuff that makes it so difficult. And it's like our neural system. It likes clarity. It likes it. It's like it's all I like. If someone said, but reframe that. So I would go, I look at you. This is what comes up for me, as in, this is what I feel. I'm the mirror. It may be my stuff. May I do this? And if this thing does something and really changes in you, wonderful. We can always back analyze and backtrack to figure out what's the actual physiological mechanism, what's the emotional mechanism, the spiritual, the behavioral, whatever it is. And I believe we all have that. And I know that it's not always there. Like you're talking about specific times, and particularly with the guy serving drinks. He just happened to lean over and it caught my attention. I wasn't looking.
Yeah. That's the best part.
I was looking for my drink. I wasn't looking. And and what was really important is we found it was his shoes. But we knew it, and I said, I need to look at your shoes. And you're like, well, dude, you're so weird. And just so people understand, it's like it's one thing to help someone identify, but he also was not as a server of drinks. He wasn't a waiter, which means how much he earns wasn't that much. And so we figured out how much a new pair of shoes was, and we gifted him the money for a new pair of shoes. And that was an activation. No, actually, because the thing, his shoe was like the little square network was squishing around. So every time his foot went down, instead of just hitting the ground, it was going all over the place. So his body was like becoming tentative, like, and he's on his feet all day. And it's like, I'd forgotten all about that. But that's the thing. It's like, it's so simple. And yet it's not simple at all. But the thing is that if one goes, okay, I need to analyze every person out there and figure out what they want, well, good luck. You're going to drive yourself absolutely loony. You're going to lose the plot. It's like, let people walk, watch them walk. What pops up? If you know, if it doesn't matter. And so I'm always happy to go, hey, this may seem really weird, but this is what pops up in my head when I watch you do that. And I'll reflect that. And how many times someone goes, oh, how did you know about that? I go, I don't. I'm telling you what I think I see, and I don't know what it means. Nothing to me. What does it mean to you? And if they go, well, nothing, awesome, then I'm mad and crazy. Perfect. We've already established that. But what happens if that's the thing that's kind of your intelligence that you have is handed to you because of all the years of training? Someone who has never done any training is not going to be able to do this. Why? Because the training gives you the language to interpret the message that you're given. That's why we have the training. But the training mustn't be in the way of that message.
Yeah, got it.
And if I may, I'm going into a controversial area, because we see this in many religions. We see people who get so into the mechanism of their religion that they lose touch with the feel and the spirituality of their religion. And so imagine that same concept in so indoctrinated in a technique, in a methodology, that we miss the human spirit that is the healing, that is the thing that is what inspires us. And so it's that dynamic. It's each one of us has wisdom and insight, and it's there, but it needs a container, it needs an environment where we allow it to come out. And sometimes we need the language, the training, the way of, or the philosophy that allows that to come up.
Yeah, I've got it.
So it's yeah, and sometimes the days when I absolutely wish that would happen, because it would make life a lot easier. And the other days where I absolutely wish the damn thing would switch off, because you know, because I find that, like, when I get those feelings, senses, messages, I feel if I don't do something with it, then I have to carry it. So often I have to go up to some strange person and go, hi, my name's Douglas. I just wanted to say blah, blah, blah. Bye. And now I've put it down. And that is the weirder side of me, because, you know, it's like, it's something that it comes in with the philosophy that you're allowed to see stuff for a reason. And if you didn't need to see it, you wouldn't see it. And I could be wrong, but it's just how I've interpreted. And yeah, it's fascinating. And but I think if we go from the base belief that the human psyche, the human condition, we're amazing. We're incredible. We can do amazing things. And we've forgotten. We have somehow learned that we're not, that the answers are outside of us. They're not outside of us. The answers are inside of us. It's like, and so our job is to help people find what's already in them. And it is that simple. It's like, so when someone goes, oh my goodness, that's amazing, you healed me. No, you did that. I facilitated, you did that, because the healing was already inside you. We helped you uncover it. That's all we did, you know. And I must be careful in my language, because a lot of times people are like, what do you mean that's all you did? What you did was huge. Actually, yes, it can be huge. And we also have to acknowledge our role in somebody else's healing. And I've not always been good in that. I've often, that actually is important, because if I don't pitch up and facilitate, then no healing takes place. The potential was always there, but it doesn't take place. If you don't teach, if you don't facilitate, no healing takes place. So we do still have that, the importance. Facilitation doesn't mean we have no responsibility. Our responsibility and our accountability to ourselves is to pitch up. And so it's the outcome is good or the outcome's not good, but we still have to be there. And I think that, you know, there's a part of me inside me that could quite easily, had there not been such long beach bans, I could have gone surfing for a year and waited, or longer, however long this goes on for. I could have waited until the world goes back to the way Doug had it before, because I kind of liked it. But nothing inside me allowed me to do that. It was like almost, oh crap, I actually have to be serious now. I actually have to, you know, do it differently, go into those uncomfortable places, go onto social medias and go onto this and do all of those things that kind of just don't sit in me. But it was, if I don't step up, if you don't step up, if the person listening to this doesn't step up, who's going to? You know, it works on that. There's so many great quotes, but evil triumphs when great men or women do nothing. And we are all great, and we are all good, and we have to step up, and we have to bring the value. We have to bring the gifts that we've been given. And the gifts are sometimes the gift is what somebody taught you. Sometimes the gift is what you were born with. Sometimes it's all of it. But we do have to do it. We have to let it flow and move, because, you know, let's say somebody that you worked with today, someone you touched something in them and you created a shift inside them, and they go home with that shift, and that shift then let's say you saw a mom and a wife, and she goes home to her family with that difference, and then she influences, and then her kids go out and influence their friends, who influence their families, and you suddenly realize this ripple effect. But if you chose not to do that one, then it never happened in the first place. Yeah. And I think that's a big thing. It's kind of, I know I'm doing a Doug thing and going totally off topic and into weird and wacky places, but I think that's also the thing. You've seen me in all different phases of good in my life, bad in my life, struggling on the top of the world. And sometimes the challenges of that have been the responsibility of this, and perceiving it sometimes as a burden. And it's not a burden. I now know it's not a burden. It's a gift. It's kind of, it's a privilege to be able to share. It's a privilege to be able to say, how can we help you? I'm not going to sacrifice myself. I'm not going to do the work. I'm not sacrificing me, but there might be something that I have that may help you. And you know what? Every single person in this entire world could say that. I think I have something in me that may be able to help you. And if we got that right, I think a lot of things which are difficult right now would be a lot less difficult. And it sounds like that to me is what Indonesia has already quite nicely entrenched in culture. is it's I have something in me. I have nothing, but I'm I'm in poverty, but I have something in me, and maybe that thing is just a smile. It's a recognition. It's a and and so there's a willingness to give versus a willingness to, like, the need to hold on and say, no, I'm scared that you're going to take what little I've got. Instead, it's like, I have so little, but what do you need? And it's like, that's kind of magical, and yeah, it's there's so much to learn from that.
If you can learn from, I mean, like, I don't think you can learn it. I think it's in you.
No, well, you see, the thing is that if you can't learn that, then we're in trouble. Because right now, if you look, the world has learned the other way. The world is more in scarcity and fear and anxiety than ever before. The world is more in the alone and the disconnected than ever before. So that's a learned behavior. And if you can learn the one way, then you should be able to learn the other way.
Practice it. I was thinking.
Yeah.
Instead of, because I think that, I don't know, you have to learn that, or you just need to practice it. It's in you. That's what I meant.
Yeah. And it's not to give by obligation. There's no obligation here. It's a choice.
That word.
That word. And it's such an amazing thing, because when you give to others with obligation, there's no love in there.
No,
there's no love. There's a whole lot of negativity in there. But when you give because you can give, and the minute you can give because you want to give, and because you already tell yourself that there is an abundance. There is no scarcity. There is no, I have to get this right so that happens. So the abundance is also an energy and a feeling inside us, and it's a very tangible thing that people feel. And so if people get drawn to that energy too, so wouldn't you want to be around someone who goes, I have all of the stuff, I wonder what I should do with it. And this can be someone with zero money, and you know, and I see it, like, for me, the people that move me the most, there are a lot more people at the traffic lights begging, asking, you know, they really are in bad places, and you learn to switch off. But there's some people I just can't switch off to, and the reason is there's a difference, there's a mindset, there's an attitude that makes you not be able to ignore them, because they're doing it differently. They're still standing by the traffic light, they're still asking for help, but there's a graciousness, there's an ease, there's even a joy, which means, you know, I find, like, often it's the person that when you leave and you've gone, no, you actually feel like crap.
Yeah.
You know, whereas somebody else, you go, no, sorry, not today. And they go, oh, okay. And they smile at you, and you actually leave feeling better, and you want to run back and say, I'm sure I've got something for you. and it's like, and what is that? Well, the one's imploding and the other's expanding. And if we just expand a little bit more, it doesn't have to be ginormous. Then, you know, and the thing is, so, like, if you've got your trainer who doesn't want to do the full activation sequence, but wants to do just a little bit, it's a little bit of expansion. And when you do a little bit and you do it often, little and often, it eventually becomes large.
Yeah.
So you know, and I think the thing is that it doesn't matter how much you're expanding, as long as you are expanding. It's when we're collapsing, it's when we're crashing, that's when we're in trouble, and that's when actually we need somebody else to come in and help us. Yeah. And so we become the burden. But now we're going into totally different place. You see, this is why I miss coming to you and having our dinners and eating all great foods, and because these are the kind of conversations we have. And usually we have a drink or two in there as well, so they get a little silly every now and again too. and you know, it's, and I think this is really what I've missed the most about this year is the people around the world that have become family to me. And
Yeah.
you know, and I think that, yeah, but these are moments to reconnect and share, and yeah.
Yeah, and then the next time will be different, because then I think it will be, we appreciate things like better. I think it's not going to be the same.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Lily, thank you.